Hey, Sarah, the metal theologian. Yeah, so I'm fucking sitting even more awkwardly tonight because like my one ankle that's fucked up, I like got a fucking thing on my other ankle now too. So and it's like old man shit or something, or like diabetic shit. But, I don't know. I don't feel old enough for this sort of thing, you know. Especially on my records that sound like this shit. This is fucking It's another one of those fucking names. I'll just warn you right now. Vestiskurken. That's my best guess. Cosmic Desert Fuzz, which is pretty much what this sounds like, isn't it? There's a fucking sale at Interstellar Smoke. Like maybe 2 weekends ago, something like that, where basically they were getting rid of a couple records so cheap that like it was totally a deal to like get it shipped from Poland. So this is one of the ones I snagged, and it's fucking fantastic, man. I mean, this is exactly the kind of shit I've been in the mood for, you know? It's like space rock, but it sounds modern, you know? Well, there's actually another record here that I kind of felt like hyping a little bit today. Although, incidentally, let me say this first before I fucking forget. Because I totally do that. Like, every time I watch one of my videos later, I find something where I started to say something and then forgot what my point was. So spacey, man. Yeah, I was talking about this one last time, how it kind of had a punk edge. You know what I really think it is? I think I put my finger on it. The singer is definitely a punky sounding singer. But what this really sounds like is it's played in like sort of like a doom style, but the songwriting is total punk. So the riffs are like punk riffs and shit, but the performance, the style, you know, the way it's executed is kind of doom. So it's not immediately obvious, but that's what they're doing, I'm pretty sure, on this thing. So, yeah, you completely disagree. Anyway, it's Alucarda, which is a pretty great band. And it's funny, you know, in the last video when I was talking about this K2 batch of shit that I was checking out, I was spending a lot more time talking about like the spacier ones, I think, and like this one I mostly said that it wasn't really scratching the itch I expected to scratch. But sure enough, this one ended up being the one that challenged me more, right? And I probably played this more some of the other records that I actually liked more, you know? And that's why I kind of balked just a little bit at the idea of only keeping records around that you like, you know? I mean, I change my mind about records all the time anyway, you know? I was joking with someone in the comments just a couple days ago about how, you know, they made some passing comment about how, you know, some of the records I recommend are good and some are duds. And I was like, you know, I do the same thing to myself. Because a lot of times I'll put a fucking record on and then I'll be trying to figure out why I liked it so much when I made my last video when I was hyping it, you know? It doesn't happen that much. But the things that tend to really excite me about some of these records is like when I feel like I've had like a revelation about a record, you know? And sometimes I'll go back and go, yeah, maybe that was kind of bullshit anyway, you know? Just because I have an idea doesn't mean I'm going to stand by it in a year, you know? In a month I'll probably still stand by it, but beyond that. Alright, so anyway, oh yeah, so a little shout, actually, let me do my drink first, because I actually have one today, and I'm thirsty. Then I have a distro I want to shout out for y'all, because if you're into this shit, I like to hype people who are cool, but this is a Move flavored Coca-Cola, and I don't know what the fuck this means, just like that other one. I strongly suspect it's just Coke. But I've heard they've been doing some weird shit with flavors, and they had that weird, like, space flavor one a while ago, so I don't quite know what to expect from this thing, you know? So we'll see if it's just a Coca-Cola or if it actually is something. Ooh, Jesus, no, there's, like, some perfumey shit going on here. You know what this is like? It's like, you remember when you were a kid, those scratch and sniff stickers? If you took one of those, and when you scratched it, it would smell like, the smell was pixie sticks, like what it, like, you know what I mean? You get like a sheet of them that say, yeah, these smell like motor oil and skunk, you know what I mean? And those would be what those sheets would smell like. So the one that would be the interpretation of like pixie sticks, the scratch and sniff sticker, that's what this tastes like. Because, like, there's something really close. Okay, it's terrible. All right, I'm about to say some good things about this soda. But it tastes like shit. Don't get it, okay? I feel like I have to be clear about that because this is fucking terrible. It's all perfumey, man. It's like... I keep wanting to say it's like you took a big shot of rose water or something, but it's not like that. There's like that artificiality to it, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, Jesus Christ. All right, I'm going to talk about records some more and see what I can forget about. You know something? I don't think I'm going to finish this, and that makes it the second ever soda that I've ever talked about that I couldn't finish. Last time I clipped a little thing on the end, it was like a sugar cookie. It was either... There were a couple really weird Christmas ones one year. It was either like sugar cookie or gingerbread. I think it was the sugar cookie that I just dumped it out. And I think this one's gonna go in that pile. I'm gonna give it one more sip, but Jesus, that's fucking awful. God damn. All right, so anyway, I've been listening so much to this fucking stoner and space rock shit, right? I think we just keep calling it space rock, you know? And people, if I say that and people want to talk about Hawkwind, yeah, of course we're talking about Hawkwind, but that's not really what I'm getting at. I'm talking about the newer shit. But, yeah, so I've said good things about a couple distros before, but I just sort of wanted to shout out, oh, Jesus Christ. Hang on one second. Alright, so this video is going to contain something almost as rare in my videos as a soda that I don't finish, and that's going to be an edit. Because I fucking completely forgot the name. So the distro is called Mars Hotel Music. Like the Grateful Dead record, okay? And they're only on Discogs, so if you see them on there, just go ahead and order. Like, usually I'll go look for a website to see if I can save them the Discogs fees. But yeah, just go for it. Yeah, but I've just gotten really good shit from them. It comes with a little sticker on the box, or at least mine did today, that said Greetings from Mars. And I was getting ready to start talking about it. All I could think was Greetings from Mars. And I was like, I know it's not Greetings from Mars. And if I just say Greetings from Mars and assume they'll figure it out, then they totally won't. You know what I mean? If I don't expect them to, then they'll figure it out. But if I expect it, then no one will get it. And I'll just look like an asshole, and everyone look like an asshole, and we'll all feel bad about ourselves, and just be a bad scene, you know? So, yeah, anyway, just a solid seller, man. You know, it's like you appreciate someone who has good shit, who, like, makes an effort to carry imports in the U.S. especially, and, like, you know, it's just a stand-up fucking, you know, of course he ships the records properly and shit. I mean, do you have to say that? So anyway, this is the band that kind of, like, really got me going, or wanted to make the video series. This is a Giöbia record. And as usual, I knew almost nothing about these guys. Like, I went and looked, I did enough due diligence to see if they were Italian, or to see that they were Italian. I think they're from Italian. I'm pretty sure they're from, like, Milan or something in the north. I don't even fucking know. Anyway, there's something really fucking cool about this record. Like, this is actually one reason I'm not so big on this sort of thing. Like, I heard a couple sort of people saying it was kind of shoegazy. Okay? And I can see why you would say that. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that that is an inaccurate descriptor to use for Giobia. But I also have to say that I'm not in the mood for shoegaze shit. Like, if you put on a slow dive record right now or something, I'd be like, I mean, it'd be fine. I like that shit, you know? But it's like, it's not what I'm in the mood for, right? This is fucking fantastic, and I'm totally in the mood for this. Because I don't think this is actually shoegazy so much, just has this really unique sound. Yeah, I didn't brushing the record, but I don't like to say really unique either, right? Because something's either unique or it's not, right? Because if it's relatively unique, then it's not unique. So what this fucking record sounds like is, like, you know how, like, you're, like, going through, like, your uncle's, like, attic or garage or something like that, and there'll be, like, a toolbox with some tapes in it or something like that? And, like, some of them would have cases and shit, but there'd be one that was, like, just unlabeled or something, or maybe had, like, a name on it, but, like, you didn't have any information. It was a home dub, and the tape was, like, really old and mostly worn out, but you could still play it. And it was really cool, but you never quite knew who it was, and, like, it wasn't the greatest thing ever. You know what I mean? Because if it were the greatest thing ever, you would have sought it out. But it's this cool thing that you heard that really inspired you to go look for more music when you were little and impressionable and you didn't know that this sort of thing existed. That tape, that's what this sounds like. And I'm no audiophile, right? This is not the greatest stereo system in the world. It's a hell of a lot better than what I had when, I would have been finding this apocryphal tape, right? But, there's something about the production of this that makes it feel to me like no matter, you could spend $1 million on your fucking system, it would still have that kind of closed, kind of occult, like in the like original sense of like hidden sort of music, you know what I mean? Like there's just sort of an aura about it. And like on the surface, like if I break this apart into its components, I don't love a lot of them. Like that, like the way it's produced, I definitely like. And some of the instrumentation choices are a little bit too obvious as little like sort of nods to the 60s here, 80s there, Not that it's ever like obvious, but like if you listen to a lot of this kind of music, you can pick up on that kind of shit, right? So you probably know what I'm talking about. The point is, if perfect were here and too much would be here, they would be over here, pretty close to perfect, but they'd never quite be perfect. But the very fact that they're not quite perfect is one of the things that makes this record so special. And by the way, from an execution standpoint, I find no flaw in this record. This is all about just like choices that I might have made versus them with the arrangement and that sort of thing. So purely songwriting perspective, I don't know enough about production to really opine on that anyway, Anyway, that's why I'm really fascinated by Giöbia right now. This is kind of, it's funny, once it's our band of the week, this record just came in the mail today, man. I'm kind of freaking out. And actually, I checked these guys out. Since I always hype the virtues of blind buying, it's basically on the strength of that logo. I was like, what that logo promises is what I want. Yeah, man. So what else is there to talk about today? Yeah, I didn't plan this too well. I can't not think of the Zonk Man when I pull this record out. Does anyone else do the same thing? Like, in my head, if I'm saying it even, it's Telekinetic Yeti, right? But in my head, it's Telekinetic Yeti! With the Zonk Man saying it, Subscribe to Steve Bender if you're not already. Yeah, someone geeking out over the Caliph records. Yeah, I've been playing this one kind of a lot. I've been really into Taxi Caveman, right? I've kept it kind of a lot. So this is another one I got from that sale in Poland, right? Galactic Slope, I guess, is their second record. And one thing I respect about this one right off the bat is that it's only about a half hour long. And, having lived through the age where, albums where otherwise good 40-minute albums were stretched out to 70 minutes to fill CDs, having lived through that era, having just under a half hour of music on this record is really a breath of fresh air. And Jesus Christ, how could like when that's with that cover, so yeah. That record's a lot more sort of like straight space rock than the first one, though. The first one had some really rough edges where, like, it isn't really a straight rock album, but the rock that's in there is hard rock. You know what I mean? This one is, I guess you could say that this one's more fully committed to the space rock, but I also really came to appreciate the balance that is sort of struck between the, I don't want to say the Jekyll and Hyde because that feels so cliche, but those sorts of poles on the from the first Taxi Caveman record. Yeah, this one right here. And I mean, I think they're both absolutely fantastic, like unequivocally. And I really, the name is a little bit much. Like when when I was talking before about Giöbia and like this line being too much, and you know, not enough being over here or some whatever I said, whatever the hell I said. Yeah, Taxi Caveman is pretty much right here. It's a little too much. I really checked this out just on the strength of the art, especially the cover of Galactic Slope, even though I didn't get the first one first. And goddamn, I'm glad I did, because I swear. First of all, the cover art still fucking rules. I mean, even the logo. You know? And Taxi Caveman is as good as any name. It's not like it's not serviceable. I just don't think I don't think it's as good as Coven of the Snake. You know, I was thinking about this because, God, someone was talking about this. Chromie D was talking about this record, actually. I think it was in the Grown Man Record Night chat, maybe, but he, like, busted this out. And then VK dug it, too. And so I pulled it out again then, too, right? And then I was thinking about it. I don't think there's ever been a time in my life, regardless of what style of music I was really into at that point in time, where I would not have bought a record by a band called Coven of the Snake. I mean, if it was a jazz record, I would definitely be more inclined to sort of scrutinize a little bit, make sure there isn't some ironic shit. You know, like those Jazz Sabbath records? And I bid on one of those. You know, what the hell? You know, it's kind of a fun record, too. And so much of jazz is about reinterpreting old songs anyway. That just now we're so far removed in time from when those songs were popular that it feels like it's all originals. But it's totally not, you know? So doing those Sabbath songs isn't really that outlandish if I really believe in that. And, you know, it's a fun record, but if it, Coven of the Snake as a jazz act, I'd be more sort of wary of being something like that, is what I'm saying. But a reggae record by an act called Coven of the Snake, I wonder what the fuck they're up to, but I could concoct some Rasta angle on that myself, so sure, you know. I'll give this another sip, see if I can tolerate it. I mean, metal, obviously. It's already not plural, right? You know, I took a sip, and it was in my mouth, and I was thinking, I don't know if this is really as bad as I made it out to be. And then it sort of continued to spread, like the way I talk about these drinks sometimes pleasantly do. It kind of continued to spread, and like when it hit the back, like to where it goes to up to my nostrils, so I started to smell it. It's like, ah, Jesus. So yeah, stay away from the fucking Coca-Cola move. There's a really easy and lame joke there, but I'm not even gonna bother. What else do I have to hype today? Talked about Conclave last time. Yeah, all my shit's all mixed up now. I sort of had it organized at one point, so what can I say, man? You know what makes me do that? Being excited about music, being excited about playing these records and digging through them and mixing them up. Oh, the ones that I got, you know, from this place at this time. How if I take this one and play it next to this other one here that I got at this other place this other time, but I was getting the same kinds of records, how is that going to vibe out, you know? So it's part of the fun, man. I'm not as bold as like Jason Hook from the kind of slow to upload Get Into It with Jason Hook channel. That dude just doesn't organize his records at all. They're just on the fucking shelf and he's just to find them. I'm never gonna go that far with it, but a little bit of chaos, yeah, I suppose I kind of have to roll with it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it there. I already got some editing I gotta do now, so thanks for watching. That's my little hype, and yeah, I'm really excited about some of these bands. God, it feels so good to have like new bands that I'm like excited about. It just, you know, it's refreshing, man.